A year ago, President Trump predicted COVID-19 was just weeks away from disappearing.
It may get a little bigger, it may not get bigger at all. We'll see what happens. But regardless of what happens, we're totally prepared.
But a year on, with millions infected, hundreds of thousands dead, Americans' response has proved vastly inadequate.
We are at war with this virus. It is clearly a national emergency, and we are doing all we can.
Now comes the race to vaccinate the population, but some are skeptical of getting a shot. One study shows more than a third of Americans are not willing to get vaccinated. Janice Doral was a vaccine volunteer as part of the AstraZeneca Oxford trial. She saw the devastating effects of the virus on her home city of New York.
I would hope that people would have confidence in it. I know that there's been discussion of concern of the speed that things have been developed at, but I think that it's been built on previous scientific experience of vaccines.
Distributing the vaccine across the country, though, is a logistical challenge. Less than 2% of America's population, of almost 330 million, have so far received the double doses. Experts say the economic crisis of 2008 saw state budgets cut, making hospitals and health agencies less prepared to handle the pandemic.
We have not only hemorrhaged numbers of people, but we have hemorrhaged expertise. And so when COVID hit, we were left with a public health infrastructure that really hadn't been improved upon since the early 2000s, a staff that was a fraction of what it had been, a few years earlier, people without expertise.
The Biden administration says it inherited a logistical mess from the Trump government, and that is hampering their efforts. Even so, the new administration says that it has increased vaccine distribution by 20% in its first 2 weeks, and that it's now on track to hit its target of distributing 100 million doses in the president's first 100 days. But the government's own health advisors admit that the country is still many months away from returning to some sense of normality. Nick Harper, SABC News, Washington.